My name is Jade Holmes. I'm 29 years old. 3 months ago, I was rushed into emergency surgery after an accident. I had a ruptured spleen and a collapsed lung, at the same hospital where I work as an ICU nurse. The surgeon said I had less than 2 hours. I survived. When I was barely awake in recovery, my parents walked in. Not to ask if I was okay. Not to hold my hand. They came to refuse the remaining $7,500 after insurance. I nodded and looked away. Then the trauma surgeon stepped into the room. My parents didn't know how closely my life was tied to his, and what he uncovered in the days that followed would unravel a truth my mother had kept buried for 29 years. But to understand how that night changed everything, you need to know what happened the day before the accident. I became an ICU nurse because I wanted to save people. Ironic, isn't it? Sacred Heart Medical Center, Portland, Oregon. 28 beds. I worked night shifts, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. 12-hour stretches of codes, compressions, life and death. My starting salary in 2019 was $58,000. After taxes, $3,800 a month. Rent was $1,200 for a studio apartment in Southeast Portland. I lived on ramen and hospital cafeteria food. I didn't mind being broke. I minded being invisible. My first save was a 62-year-old man, cardiac arrest. I did compressions for 11 minutes straight while the team prepped the defibrillator. My arms burned, my back screamed, but I didn't stop. He lived. I called my mom from the hospital parking lot at 4 a.m, crying with adrenaline and joy. She listened for maybe 10 seconds. Then she said, "That's wonderful, honey. Listen, can you Venmo Trevor $200? His car payment is due tomorrow." Trevor is my brother, 3 years younger. He's never held a job longer than 4 months. My mother calls him an entrepreneur. I call him unemployed. But the difference runs deeper than vocabulary. When I struggled, I was not trying hard enough. When Trevor struggled, he was finding his purpose. I remember Thanksgiving 2022 clearly. Mom was setting the table when Trevor walked in, showing off photos on his phone. "Mom, check out my Instagram. Just got back from Miami. The beaches were insane." My mother's face lit up. "Sweetheart, those photos are stunning. When did you go?" "Last week. Needed a mental health break?" My father, Vincent, looked up from his newspaper. His voice was quiet, almost tentative. "Miami? I thought you were apartment hunting." Mom's tone sharpened immediately. "Vincent, mental health is important." I was sitting right there at the table. 2 weeks earlier, I'd sent my mother $1,200 for what she called an emergency dental procedure. She never mentioned the dental emergency again. She never mentioned Miami either. I didn't say anything. I never did. 6 months before that, Trevor bought a $2,800 camera for his photography business. I contributed $1,500 because Mom said he was finally taking initiative. The camera sat in its box in Trevor's room for 6 months. When I finally asked how the business was going, Mom looked at me like I'd insulted her. "Jade, you can't rush creativity." The camera is probably still in that box. I kept a mental list of these moments. The pattern was consistent, relentless even. When I got my ICU position at Sacred Heart, one of the most competitive nursing jobs in Portland, my mother said, "It's just a job, Jade." When Trevor got hired at Starbucks 2 months later, she threw a party, bought a cake, posted on Facebook about how proud she was. He quit after 2 weeks, said the hours didn't align with his energy. Nobody threw him a going-away party for that. I told myself Trevor would grow up, that Mom would eventually see him the way I did, entitled, lazy, coasting on her affection and Dad's silence. But then came what I now call the spreadsheet years. And everything got so much worse. The call came on a Tuesday in July 2019. I'd just finished my first month at Sacred Heart. My scrub still smelled like the hospital's industrial detergent. I was exhausted but proud. My phone rang at 10 p.m. Mom's name on the screen. "Jade, I don't know what to do." Her voice was shaking. Tears, maybe real, maybe not. I couldn't tell anymore. I sat up in bed immediately, panic flooding my chest. What happened? Is Dad okay? His pension. They cut it. By 40%. We can't make rent this month. We're going to lose the house. My heart dropped. What? When did this happen? Last week. Your father is too proud to ask for help. But Jade, we'll be homeless. I'm begging you. I looked at my bank account on my phone. $2,200. My first real savings in years. How much do you need? Just 800. Just this once. We'll pay you back when the pension gets sorted out, I promise. I sent it within the hour. I felt needed for the first time in years. Important. Like I mattered to them the way Trevor always seemed to matter. That feeling, that validation, was intoxicating. It was also a lie. 2 years later, I saw my father's bank statement sitting on their kitchen counter when I stopped by to drop off groceries. His pension had never been cut. Not by a dollar. But by then, I'd already sent $14,400 more. Mom called it helping family. I called it rent. $800 a month for 18 months straight. When I finally worked up the courage to ask when they'd pay me back, my mother looked at me like I'd slapped her. Pay you back? Jade, you're our daughter. Are you seriously going to charge us for the childhood we gave you? I didn't have an answer for that. So I kept paying. That's when I started the spreadsheet. Not because I wanted to weaponize it later. At least, that's what I told myself at the time. I kept it because I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't imagining the inequality. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that it was real. February 2020. Trevor called me at 11 at night. I'd just gotten home from a 12-hour shift. My feet ached. I had another shift in 9 hours. Jade, I found it. My purpose. I was too tired to be skeptical. What are you talking about? I'm opening a cafe, a real one. Artisan coffee, local pastries, Instagram-worthy interior design. I've found the perfect location. Something in my chest tightened. Trevor, that sounds great, but I need $12,000 for first month's rent, equipment, and inventory. $12,000, my entire emergency fund. Trevor, I don't know if I can... The line went quiet for a second. Then my mother's voice cut in. She'd been on speakerphone the whole time. Jade, this is Trevor's chance. He's finally found his passion. Are you really going to be the reason your brother fails? I looked at my savings account. $12,300. 5 years of saving while working part-time through nursing school. I sent $12,000 the next morning. Trevor's cafe was called Brood Awakening. It opened in April 2020. It closed in August. 4 months. He blamed COVID. But the truth was simpler. Trevor worked maybe 2 days a week. The cafe was never open on time. Customers stopped coming. I asked him once, carefully, if he'd be able to pay me back. He laughed. Jade, the cafe failed. I don't have any money, you know that. My mother was in the room when he said it. She didn't correct him. Didn't suggest he get a job to pay me back. Didn't acknowledge that I'd just lost $12,000. She just said, "These things happen in business, Jade. You wouldn't understand." But I did understand. I understood that I'd been used. I kept paying anyway, because I still believed that if I gave enough, they'd love me the way they loved him. Over the next 5 years, the requests never stopped. They just evolved. In 2021, my mother called crying about an emergency surgery. Female problems, she said. Very private. Insurance wouldn't cover it. She needed $8,500. I put $2,000 on my credit card because I didn't have enough in savings. 3 months later, I saw Facebook photos of her at a spa resort with her friends. The dates matched the week of her supposed surgery. When I asked her about it, she got defensive. I needed to recover somewhere peaceful, Jade. Are you really going to police how I heal? In 2022, Trevor decided he needed to invest in himself. He signed up for 8 online courses: digital marketing, cryptocurrency investing, real estate fundamentals. Total cost $9,600. Mom called me. Jade, this is Trevor's education. This is his future. I paid it. Trevor completed 2 out of 8 courses. Then he got bored. That same year, Mom claimed the roof was leaking. $3,800 for emergency repairs. I went to their house 6 months later and checked the attic myself. There was no leak. There never had been. The numbers kept climbing. The lies kept compounding. By March 2024, I'd given my family $67,300 over 5 years. I kept everything in an Excel spreadsheet. 3 tabs. Tab 1, rent and bills, $14,400. Tab 2, Trevor's dreams, $37,100. Tab 3, emergencies, $15,800. I color-coded every entry. Red meant they never repaid me. That was most of it. Yellow meant the emergency turned out to be fake. Green meant they promised to repay, but never did. My spreadsheet looked like a Christmas tree. Except I was the only one giving gifts. $67,300. An entire year of my salary. Gone. Meanwhile, my savings account had $8,200. My credit card had $3,400 in debt. My retirement account, which should have been around $22,000 if I'd contributed consistently, sat at $6,200. I'd given them my future, and they'd given me nothing but requests for more. In December 2023, something happened that I kept secret from everyone. Nathan proposed. We'd been dating for 2.5 years. He was a trauma surgeon at Sacred Heart. Brilliant, kind, patient in ways I didn't know people could be. We met during a code blue at 3 a.m. He was calm while everyone else panicked. I noticed that. He proposed on December 23rd. Christmas lights reflecting off the Willamette River. Downtown Portland. He'd been planning it for months. When he got down on one knee, I cried so hard I couldn't speak. Jade Elizabeth Holmes, will you marry me? I said yes. Of course I said yes. But when he asked when we should tell my family, when he said he wanted to meet my parents properly, I froze. Not yet. Please. Just not yet. Nathan didn't push. He trusted me. But I saw the confusion in his eyes. We'd been together for 2.5 years and he'd never met my parents. I'd told him they were complicated, that our relationship was strained. The truth was simpler and more humiliating. I was terrified. Terrified that my mother would see his salary and start calculating. Terrified that Trevor would suddenly have a business idea that needed funding. Terrified that they'd see Nathan as a resource instead of a person. Terrified that they'd take him from me the way they'd taken everything else. So I kept him secret. On March 20th, late at night, I did something reckless. I posted in our family group chat, "Hey everyone, I got engaged." I stared at my phone for 2 hours. Mom saw it at 6:22 the next morning. Trevor at 9:15. Dad at 10:30. 0 replies. Not a single word. At noon, I deleted the message. No one ever mentioned it. Not once. Like it never happened. 2 days later, I got in my car after a double shift. I was so tired I could barely see straight. That's when everything changed. Friday, March 22nd, 2024, 9:38 p.m. I was driving home from Sacred Heart after a double shift. 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., 16 hours. We'd had a code blue that didn't make it. 2 difficult intubations. A family screaming at us because we couldn't save their father. I was so exhausted my hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Highway 26, westbound, 12 miles outside Portland. The road was dark except for my headlights cutting through the fog. I remember seeing the headlights coming toward me, wrong side of the road. I remember thinking, absurdly calm, that truck is in my lane. I remember jerking the wheel right. I remember the impact, metal shrieking, glass exploding, my car spinning like a carnival ride, then nothing. I don't remember the ambulance ride. I don't remember the paramedics cutting me out of my car. I don't remember them intubating me on the side of the highway while a stranger held my hand and told me I'd be okay. I don't remember any of it. But other people do. 10:04 p.m. I arrived at Sacred Heart Medical Center, my own hospital. They wheeled me into Trauma Bay 3, the same bay I'd walked past 1,000 times on my way to the ICU. Now I was the Jane Doe on the gurney, choking on a breathing tube, bleeding internally. Dr. Lisa Park was the ER attending. She was reading my vitals to her team when one of the nurses, Sarah Mitchell, my best friend, suddenly stopped moving. "Wait." Sarah's voice cracked. "Oh my God, that's Jade." Dr. Park looked closer at my face. "The ICU nurse?" "Yes. We have to call trauma surgery. Now." At 10:18 p.m., Nathan was paged. He was in the doctor's lounge 2 floors up, finishing paperwork from an earlier surgery. The message on his pager: Trauma Bay 3. Head trauma plus internal bleeding. Need you now. He ran. When Nathan pushed through the doors and saw the preliminary chart, his face went pale. Female, 28, motor vehicle accident, ruptured spleen, possible liver laceration. The resident was rattling off injuries, but Nathan wasn't listening anymore. He'd stepped closer to the gurney. Sarah had wiped some of the blood off my face. Nathan froze. "That's Jade." Dr. Park turned. "You know her?" Nathan's voice barely held steady. "She works here, ICU. She's..." He stopped himself before saying, "My fiancé." For a few seconds he just stood there, staring. Then his training kicked in. "Prep OR 2, I'm taking her up myself. Get a CT scan on the way up, and find her family, right now." While Nathan scrubbed in for surgery, a nurse found my phone in a police evidence bag. The screen was cracked, but it still worked. "Emergency contact, Dad, Vincent Holmes." They called him at 10:25 p.m. The phone rang 4 times before he answered. "Hello?" His voice was groggy. "Mr. Holmes, this is Sacred Heart Medical Center. Your daughter Jade was in a serious car accident. She's in our emergency room right now." I imagine my father sitting up in bed, suddenly wide awake. "What? Is she okay?" "She's alive, but she's critical. She needs emergency surgery. We need you and your wife to come to the hospital immediately. We'll be there in 20 minutes. My father woke my mother. I imagine her annoyed, checking the time, asking if it couldn't wait until morning. "Diane, wake up. Jade's been in an accident." "What? What time is it?" "It's an emergency. We have to go. Now." In the car, my mother was on her phone, texting someone. My father's hands were shaking on the steering wheel. "How bad do you think it is?" Mom didn't look up from her screen. "Bad enough they called us." Dad called Trevor, who is at a friend's house. "Son, your sister's been in an accident. Meet us at Sacred Heart." Trevor's response: "Now? Dad, I'm in the middle of... How long is this going to take?" My father hung up on him. They arrived at the hospital at 10:45 p.m., 20 minutes that would destroy everything. My parents were taken to the ER family waiting room. Dad was pacing, still wearing pajama pants under his jacket. His face was gray. Mom sat in a plastic chair, scrolling through her phone. At 10:52 p.m., Nathan walked in. He was still wearing bloody scrubs from his initial assessment of me. "Mr. and Mrs. Holmes?" My father rushed over. "Yes. Are you... How is she?" Nathan looked at both of them, His voice was controlled, professional. But I would learn later that his hands were shaking. I'm Dr. Nathan Reed, trauma surgeon. Jade has severe head trauma and internal bleeding. I need to take her to surgery immediately. Without intervention in the next 30 minutes, she won't survive. Dad reached for the clipboard Nathan was holding. Of course, whatever she needs. Where do I sign? That's when Mary Chen walked in. Mary was the hospital financial counselor. She'd been called because I had no ID, no insurance card, nothing to verify coverage. Mr. and Mrs. Holmes, I'm so sorry to intrude at this time. Mary's voice was gentle. I need to discuss financial responsibility while Dr. Reed operates. My mother's tone turned sharp immediately. Can't this wait? Our daughter is dying. Mary stayed professional. I understand. This will only take a moment. Jade's insurance will cover approximately 70% of the estimated surgery costs. The remaining balance is about $7,500. We need a guarantor. Someone who agrees to cover the out-of-pocket costs if Jade is unable to pay. Dad didn't hesitate. I'll sign. Where? But my mother grabbed his arm. Wait. Vincent, we need to think about this. Dad looked at her, confused. Think about what? She needs surgery now. Mom turned to Mary. What if insurance denies the claim? What if it's more than $7,500? What if it's $20,000? $30,000? Mary's expression remained neutral, but her voice was careful. Mrs. Holmes, this is emergency surgery. Insurance will cover the majority. You're not paying now, just guaranteeing. We can't guarantee anything. We don't have that kind of money. My father's voice rose. Diane, we have savings. We have the emergency fund. We don't, Vincent. The room went quiet. Mary looked between them, her professional mask starting to crack. I understand financial strain, Mary said slowly. But your daughter's life is at stake. The surgery is time-sensitive. My mother's face hardened. I understand that. But we have to be practical. That's when she said it. The words that ended everything. We can't afford this. We just spent $49,000 on Trevor's Europe trip. Our savings is gone. If insurance doesn't cover everything and we're stuck with a $20,000 bill. Her hand flew to her mouth. She'd said it out loud. $49,000. Trevor's Europe trip. My father's face went completely white. Mary Chen's expression shifted from professional sympathy to something closer to disgust. And Nathan? Nathan was in the hallway. He'd been on his way to the OR. He'd come back to grab my updated CT scan results. He heard everything. Nathan stepped into the waiting room. His voice was ice cold. Excuse me. My mother spun around. Who are? Nathan cut her off. I need to ask you something. He looked directly at my mother. Are you really her parents? My mother's face flushed. Of course we are. How dare you? What kind of parents refuse to guarantee their dying daughter's surgery after spending $49,000 on a vacation? Silence. My father was staring at the floor. My mother opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Mary Chen quietly excused herself, stepping toward the door. Nathan turned to my father. His voice softened slightly. Mr. Holmes, I don't know what's happening in your family, but your daughter is dying. Dad's voice broke. Doctor, I'll sign. I'll take responsibility. Nathan held up a hand. Don't bother, I'll handle it. He turned to Mary. Put all charges on my personal account, everything. Mary hesitated. Dr. Reed, that's highly unusual. Do it. Then Nathan looked back at my parents. What he said next, I wouldn't learn until days later. But it changed everything. And for the record, I'm not just her surgeon. I'm her fiancé. We've been together for 2.5 years. She never told you about me because she knew you'd do exactly what you're doing now. See me as a wallet, not a person. My mother's mouth fell open. Nathan's final words were quiet but absolute. You can wait here if you want, but when she wakes up, you won't be seeing her. I'll make sure of that. He walked out. The surgery began at 11:02 p.m. In the waiting room, my father sat alone in a corner, head in his hands. My mother sat on the opposite side, arms crossed, defensive. Trevor arrived at 11:15 p.m., annoyed and loud. Is this going to take all night? I have dinner plans tomorrow. My father's voice cut through the room like a knife. Sit down and shut up, Trevor. Trevor had never heard that tone from his father before. He sat down. For 3 hours, Nathan operated on me while my family sat in silence, their dysfunction finally too obvious to ignore. I didn't know any of this yet. I was unconscious, intubated, broken, but alive. And when I woke up 4 days later, everything I thought I knew would be shattered. March 26th, day 4. I woke up to white ceiling tiles and the rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor. There was a tube in my throat. Pain everywhere. I tried to move and couldn't. Then I saw Nathan's face. He was sitting beside my bed, holding my hand. When my eyes opened, his entire expression softened. Hey, you're okay. You're safe. His voice was gentle, steady. Don't try to talk. You're intubated. Squeeze my hand if you understand. I squeezed. His eyes filled with tears. You're at Sacred Heart. You were in a car accident Friday night. It's Tuesday. You had surgery. You're going to be okay. I tried to speak. I couldn't. The tube comes out tomorrow if your breathing stays strong. I need you to rest. But first, he paused. I need to tell you something. About your parents. My parents? Were they here? Were they worried? Nathan pulled his chair closer. They came to the hospital that night. It didn't go well. Over the next 10 minutes, with me unable to speak or move, Nathan told me everything. About the financial counselor, about my mother refusing to sign, about the $49,000, about the question he'd asked them. I walked in and I asked them, Are you really her parents? Even through the haze of painkillers, I felt something crack open in my chest. I told them I was your fiancé, Nathan continued. They didn't know about me, about us. Your mom looked shocked. Your dad looked ashamed. He took a breath. I paid for everything, Jade. The surgery, the ICU, all of it. And I banned them from visiting you. I wanted to ask where they were now. I wanted to ask about my father. Nathan seemed to read my mind. Your dad tried to come yesterday. I let him in for 5 minutes. He cried the whole time. He kept saying he was sorry. Tears ran down my face. Your mom tried to come this morning. Security stopped her. She caused a scene. Said I was turning you against your family. Nathan reached for his phone. There's something else. Something Sarah told me I should show you, but only when you're ready. He turned the screen toward me. It was a screenshot of the family group chat. My engagement announcement. 0 replies. Sarah says you posted this and then deleted it. Is that true? I nodded. The tears came harder. Nathan's voice broke. Jade, why didn't you tell me they treated you like this? Because I didn't want him to see how little I was worth to them. But he was about to see everything. The next day, they removed the breathing tube. My voice was raspy, weak. But it worked. Sarah visited during her shift. She pulled a chair up to my bed and took my hand. Girl, I need to tell you what I saw that night. Sarah had been in the ER when my parents arrived. Your mom was on her phone the whole time, texting, not even looking worried. I closed my eyes. Your dad was pacing, panicking. But your mom? She looked annoyed, like she'd been inconvenienced. Sarah's voice hardened. When the financial counselor came, I was standing right outside the door. I heard everything. Your mom said she couldn't afford to help you. Then she mentioned the Europe trip. Jade, my jaw dropped. She squeezed my hand tighter. Nathan walked in and asked if they were really your parents. It was the coldest I've ever heard him speak. What did my mom say? My voice was barely a whisper. She tried to argue, said he was being unprofessional. He said, and I quote, "What's unprofessional is refusing to save your daughter's life because you'd rather fund your son's vacation." I would have laughed if it didn't hurt so much. And Trevor, Sarah continued, your brother showed up an hour after your surgery started. You know what he said? I shook my head. Is this going to take all night? I have dinner plans tomorrow. Something inside me went numb. Jade, I've known your family was messed up. You've mentioned it before. But I never knew it was this bad. She leaned forward. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell Nathan? My answer came out broken. Because I thought it was normal. I thought all families were like this. I thought I was the problem. Sarah's eyes blazed. You're not the problem. You've never been the problem. And I think it's time they knew that. She pulled out her phone. Do you still have that spreadsheet? The one tracking everything you gave them? I nodded. Good, she said. Because it's time to show Nathan everything. That evening, Nathan came back after his shift. He handed me a folded piece of paper. Your dad came by again today. I didn't let him in. But he gave me this. I unfolded it. My father's handwriting. Jade, I don't know how to apologize for Friday night. I failed you. I've been failing you for years and I didn't see it until it was almost too late. Your mother and I are not speaking. I don't know if we ever will again. Trevor doesn't understand why I'm angry. He said you're being dramatic. I'm staying at my sister Patricia's house in Sacramento for now. When you're ready, I'd like to talk. If you'll let me. I love you. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. Dad. I was crying again. Nathan sat on the edge of my bed. Jade, how long has your family been like this? How long have they been using you? 5 years, I whispered. Since I started at Sacred Heart. I reached for my phone. Sarah had brought it from my apartment. I opened my Files app and pulled up the spreadsheet. Nathan stared at the screen. His face went through several emotions at once. Horror, anger, disbelief. $67,300? His voice was shaking. Jade, you gave them $67,000? I thought it was helping. I thought they needed me. They didn't need you. Nathan's voice was firm. They used you. Then I showed him the family group chat. The messages where I asked for help. Seen? Ignored. The messages where Trevor bragged about Europe. The message where I announced our engagement. Deleted after 2 hours of silence. Nathan was quiet for a long time. Then he took both my hands. I need you to listen to me. You don't owe them anything. Not a dollar. Not a second of your time. Not your forgiveness. Nothing. His voice was steady. Absolute. And they're never hurting you again. I'll make sure of it. I believed him. What I didn't know was that my mother was about to do something that would expose everything herself. But first, we'd discover a secret that would shatter everything I thought I knew about my family. Sarah helped me organize everything. We spent 3 hours on day 6 going through my phone, my email, my bank accounts, every transaction, every message, every lie. You need to document this, Sarah said. Not for them, for you. So you know you're not crazy. We started with Venmo and Zelle. 187 transactions to my mother. 143 to Trevor. Total, $52,100 via payment apps alone. The earliest transfer, July 2019. Rent, thanks honey. The latest, March 15th, 2024. 1 week before my accident. Emergency, need $300. Then we found the bank transfers. $15,200 in direct deposits to their account. Most labeled family support, or emergency, or loan, will repay. None ever repaid. Sarah created a master spreadsheet with color coding: red for proven lies, yellow for suspected lies, green for legitimate needs, which turned out to be about 3%, blue for repaid amounts. There was no blue. Nathan came in while we were working. He stared at the screen. "This is financial abuse," he said quietly. "You know that, right?" I shook my head. "It's not abuse. I gave it willingly." "Under manipulation," Nathan interrupted. "Under guilt. Under lies. Jade, this is abuse." He pulled up my bank statements. "Let's look at what this cost you." He showed me my account from January 2019, before I started helping my family. Savings, $2,200. Checking, $1,800. Total, $4,000. Then he pulled up March 2024. Savings, $8,200. Checking, $940. Total, $9,140. "You're an ICU nurse, 5 years of experience. Your salary is around $68,000 now, right?" "Yes." "If you'd saved even 10% of your income over 5 years, just 10%, you'd have $34,000 in savings right now. You have $9,000. He did the math on his phone. "The difference is $25,000, plus the $67,000 you gave them. That's $92,300 you should have." I felt sick. "And your 401k, Nathan continued. "How much is in there?" $6,200. I had to stop contributing in 2021. I couldn't afford it anymore. Nathan's jaw tightened. "At your age, with employer matching, you should have at least $25,000 in retirement by now." He pulled up a calculator. "If you'd been able to save and invest that $67,000 over 5 years, at a conservative 7% return, you'd have $78,500 right now." He looked at me. "That's a down payment on a house. That's financial security. That's your future." His voice broke slightly. "They didn't just take your money, Jade. They took your future." I showed Nathan the emails next. I had a folder in Gmail labeled Family Requests. 132 emails. He read them in silence, his expression getting darker with each one. November 2023. Subject: Urgent, please read. "Jade, I'm very disappointed in you. Trevor needs $2,000 for his digital marketing certification, and you said you need to think about it? After everything we've done for you? We fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head for 18 years. You owe us. A good daughter doesn't hesitate to help her family. But I guess you've always been selfish. Maybe if you weren't so focused on your life, you'd remember where you came from. I expect the transfer by Friday." Mom, I'd sent $2,000 that Thursday, February 2024. Trevor's email. "Hey Jade, so I found this amazing opportunity in Rome. A startup accelerator. It could change everything for me. I need $5,000 for the deposit by tomorrow. I know it's a lot, but Mom said you'd understand. She said you always come through for family. Don't let me down. I'd sent $5,000. $2,000 of it went on my credit card because I didn't have enough in savings." Nathan noticed a pattern. Every single email has the same structure: urgent request with tight deadline, guilt about childhood, threat of disappointment, comparison to Trevor, question your character. He looked at me. "This is textbook manipulation, Jade. This is emotional abuse." The email that broke me was from early March. "Jade, Trevor is having the time of his life in Europe. He's learning so much and making incredible connections. Your father and I are so proud of him. He's going to do amazing things. By the way, we need $300 for groceries this week. Can you send it today? Thanks, honey. Mom. P.S. Trevor posted the most beautiful photo from the Eiffel Tower. You should check his Instagram." I'd sent $300. Then I sat in my car and cried for 20 minutes. Nathan put the phone down. How did you survive this? How did you keep going? I thought if I gave enough, I whispered, they'd love me like they love him. Sarah had been reading over our shoulders. Show him the group chat, she said. The whole thing. The group chat was worse. Message after message of Trevor showing off. Mom praising him, me asking for help and being ignored. March 10th. Trevor. Guys, check out my IG, best pasta in Florence. Mom. So proud of my successful son. March 11th. Me. Can someone pick me up from night shift tomorrow? My car is in the shop and Uber is $40. Seen by Mom at 8:43 a.m. Seen by Trevor at 9:15 a.m. Seen by Dad at 10:22 a.m. No replies. March 14th. Me. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you. Hope you have a great day. 0 reactions. 0 replies. March 18th. Trevor. Mom, I need another $500. Found a vintage Rolex in Rome? Mom. Sent honey. Your father said yes to the full watch too. Use the emergency card. Trevor. You're the best mom ever. Nathan scrolled through months of this. His face was pale. They're never speaking to you again, he said. Not if I have anything to do with it. Day 7. My last day in the ICU before moving to Nathan's apartment. That morning, my mother showed up. She'd convinced the guard she'd changed and needed to see her daughter. She pushed past the nurse station and walked straight into my room. Jade. Oh, my baby girl. I've been so worried. I looked at her. My voice was cold. Mom, you need to leave. She kept coming. Sweetheart, there's been a terrible misunderstanding. That night, I was in shock. I didn't know what I was saying. Nathan stood up from his chair. Mrs. Holmes, you're not supposed to be here. She ignored him completely. Jade, honey, you know Mommy loves you. I would never abandon you. That doctor is lying. He's trying to turn you against your own family. I felt something harden in my chest. Nathan didn't lie. Sarah heard you. The billing coordinator heard you. You refused to sign. My mother's face shifted, calculating. I was confused, stressed. You can't blame me for one moment of... You said you spent $49,000 on Trevor's trip. You said you couldn't afford $7,500 to save my life. She sat on the edge of my bed, grabbing my hand. Okay. Yes. I said that. But you have to understand, Trevor is our investment. He has a future. He's going to be successful and take care of us when we're old. She squeezed my hand tighter. You already have a job. You're stable. You don't need us like he does. Nathan's voice cut through the room like a blade. Did you just say your son is your investment and Jade isn't? My mother froze. That's not what I meant. I pulled my hand away. You've always seen me as less, as not worth it. My mother tried to backtrack, but I'd already decided. Nathan, can you hand me my phone? He did. I looked at my mother. You want to know why I never told you about Nathan? Why I kept him secret for 2.5 years? She was defensive immediately. Because you're selfish. You wanted to keep him all to yourself. No, because I knew you'd do exactly what you're doing now. Try to use him. I opened my phone and scrolled to the group chat. I want you to see what I see. The ICU room had a smart TV mounted on the wall. Patient entertainment. Nathan pulled an HDMI adapter from his pocket. Doctors carried them for case presentations. He connected my phone to the TV. The group chat appeared on a 50-inch screen. Every ignored message, every cry for help, every silence. My mother stared at the screen. Jade, what are you? I want you to see what you did. She looked at the messages, the dates, the read receipts. Her face went pale. Then she turned and walked out without a word. Sarah had been standing in the doorway. She saw everything. After my mother left, Sarah hugged me. You did good, she whispered. I nodded. That was the moment I realized something. I had evidence. I had witnesses. I had the truth documented in spreadsheets and screenshots and bank statements. But I wasn't going to use it. Not yet. Because 2 weeks later, my mother would do something that would expose everything herself. And this time, she'd do it to 50 people. Day 11, April 2nd. I was at Nathan's apartment recovering, getting stronger every day. My father called Nathan's phone. Is it okay if I come visit? I have something I need to tell Jade. Nathan looked at me. I nodded. An hour later, my father stood in the doorway. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. He was holding flowers. Sunflowers. My favorite since I was a kid. May I come in? Yes. He set the flowers down and sat across from me on the couch. Jade, I don't have words for what happened. I failed you. As a father, as a man, I failed you completely. Dad. He held up a hand. No. Let me finish. I've been a coward for years. I watched your mother treat you like you were less than Trevor. I watched her take from you. And I said nothing. His voice broke. That night at the hospital when she refused to sign, I should have signed immediately. I should have thrown her out. Instead, I hesitated. Tears ran down his face. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell him it was okay, but it wasn't. Dad, I need to ask you something about the surgery. Did I need a blood transfusion? Nathan was standing in the kitchen listening. No, Nathan said. You were stable. Why do you ask, Mr. Holmes? My father looked embarrassed. I should have offered. I'm O positive. Universal donor. I've donated blood before. If she'd needed it. Nathan went very still. Mr. Holmes, Jade is B positive. My father looked confused. B? But I thought O could donate to anyone? O can donate to anyone, yes, but... Nathan's voice was careful, gentle. Mr. Holmes, do you know your wife's blood type? Diane? She's a positive. I remember her mentioning it years ago when she donated at a church drive. Why? Nathan sat down slowly. I need to tell you something, and I'm only telling you because it's medically relevant and you have a right to know. The room went very quiet. Blood type genetics are very specific. If you're O positive and your wife is A positive, you can only produce children with type O or type A blood, never B. Nathan pulled up a chart on his phone. For a child to have B blood, at least one parent must carry the B allele. He looked at my father. There's no genetic combination where O and A parents produce a B child. My father's face went blank. Processing. So Jade? She's not. Biologically, you cannot be her father. I'm sorry. The words hung in the air. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. Dad? I don't understand. My father stood immediately, came to me, knelt beside the couch and took my hands. Jade, listen to me, listen. His voice was fierce. I don't care whose blood you have. I don't care about genetics or biology or any of that. Tears streamed down his face. I raised you. I taught you to ride a bike. I was at every school play, every graduation, every important moment of your life. He squeezed my hands. You are my daughter. You will always be my daughter. Did you know? I was crying. All these years, did you know? He shook his head. I swear to you, I just found out 30 seconds ago. Nathan's voice was quiet. Mr. Holmes, that means your wife had an affair. And she's known Jade isn't yours for 28 years. My father's face showed grief, betrayal, rage. But when he looked at me, only love. I need to go home. I need to find out the truth. But Jade, he squeezed my hands tighter. Biology doesn't make a father. Love does. And I love you. 3 days later, my father called. I found something. Letters. From a man named Gregory. He came over that evening with a manila folder. Inside, printed emails, handwritten notes, bank statements, photos, evidence of a 28-year-old secret. November 1995. Email from Gregory Thornton to my mother. Diane. Last night was a mistake. I have a wife, 2 kids, a career I've built for 15 years. I can't throw that away for this. We need to end this. Please don't contact me at the office anymore. Greg, March 1996. A note in my mother's handwriting. March 12, 1996. I'm pregnant. 8 weeks. It's Greg's. The timing. Vincent and I hadn't been intimate for months. We were fighting about his mother moving in. Greg won't return my calls. His secretary said he's unavailable indefinitely. I thought about not keeping it. But Vincent would ask questions, and I can't afford the procedure without him knowing. I have to keep this baby and pretend it's Vincent's. If Vincent ever finds out, I'll lose everything. This mistake is going to ruin my life. I have to make sure she never knows. I read it 3 times. My mother called me a mistake before I was even born. Bank statements from 1996 to 2021. Monthly deposits of $500 from G. Thornton. A notation in my mother's handwriting. Child support, secret account, never tell Vincent. The deposit stopped in March 2021. A newspaper obituary clipped and saved. Gregory William Thornton, 57, corporate attorney, passed away March 15, 2021. My mother had written on it, "Finally over. Secret dies with him." A photo from 1995. My mother, 26 years old, standing close to a man in a suit, his hand on her waist. On the back, in her handwriting, Morrison and Partners Holiday Party, December 1995, the night everything changed. My father sat quietly while I read everything. "You knew," I whispered, "and you still love me?" He knelt in front of me again. Jade Elizabeth Holmes, you are my daughter, not Gregory's, not biologically, but in every way that matters. His voice was shaking but firm. I changed your diapers. I walked you to school. I taught you to drive. I sat in the ER with you when you broke your arm at 12. I was there for every moment of your life. Gregory wasn't. He took money and ran. He gripped my hands. Biology is just science. Love is choice. And I choose you every single day. I understood then what my mother had done. This is why she hated me. Every time she looked at me, she saw her guilt, her secret, her mistake. But you were never a mistake, my father said. You were my daughter. You are my daughter. Nathan had been standing in the doorway. He stepped forward. Do you want to find Gregory? He's alive. He's in Seattle. Married. 2 kids in their 20s. Successful practice. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. No. He abandoned me before I was born. He paid my mother to keep quiet. He's not my father. I looked at my father. You are. He broke down crying. We both did. Nathan quietly left the room to give us privacy. When I could speak again, I asked the question I'd been avoiding. Are you going to divorce her? I already filed the paperwork. Your Aunt Patricia is helping me. 2 days later, my mother sent the email that would destroy her. And this time, she'd do it to herself. April 12th, 6:30 p.m. I wasn't there, but my father told me what happened later. Trevor was at home with my mother opening mail. He pulled out a credit card statement. His face went white. Mom! Mom! My mother came from the kitchen. What? My credit card bill. So? Pay it. Trevor's hands were shaking. It's $11,847. My mother grabbed the statement. Gucci, Rome, 1,200. Louis Vuitton, Paris, 2,800. Cartier, Barcelona, 3,400. Vintage Rolex dealer, Rome, 3,200. Miscellaneous shopping, 1,247. Trevor, I told you the card was for emergencies. He was defensive immediately. Those were emergencies. I needed to look professional for networking. You can't network in cheap clothes. My mother pulled out her phone, checked their bank account. Balance, $1,247. We're broke. We're completely broke. Trevor panicked. What about savings? We spent savings on your trip. We withdrew the 401k early and paid a 20% penalty. Well, what about Dad? Your father left. He filed for divorce. He's not giving us a dime. There was a pause. Then Trevor said it. What about Jade? My mother's face hardened. She's not answering my calls. She blocked me. Then email her. She can't block email. My mother hesitated. I don't think she'll help. She was very angry at the hospital. Trevor's voice turned cruel. Then make her feel guilty. Remind her she owes us. We raised her. He leaned closer. And if she still says no, threaten to cut her off. Tell her she's dead to us. She'll cave. She always does. My mother sat down at the computer at 6:45 p.m. She started typing. At first it was manipulation, calculated guilt. But as she wrote, she got angrier. The email transformed into a rant, a weapon. At 7:03 p.m. she typed her daughter's name in the recipient field. Gmail auto-filled. But it didn't autofill to jade.holmes.rn@gmail.com. It autofilled to Holmes Extended Family, a group email list with 50 people. My mother didn't notice. She hit send. The email. Subject: Your selfishness has consequences. Jade, I can't believe how ungrateful you've become, after everything your father and I did for you. And yes, I say your father, loosely, now that we all know the truth about your bloodline. We raised you. We fed you. We put a roof over your head for 18 years. We gave you everything. And this is how you repay us? By cutting us off? By turning Vincent against me? By refusing to help your own family when we're in crisis? Trevor's credit card bill is $11,847 from his networking trip, a trip that will pay off when he's successful. But you wouldn't understand investment, would you? You've always been short-sighted, always thinking about yourself. Your brother is our real investment. He has potential. He has a future. You were always just average. A mistake we had to deal with. Maybe I should have listened to Gregory back in 1995. He was right about everything. He said you'd be nothing but trouble. And here we are. That doctor of yours can afford $20,000 without even noticing it. If you don't wire us the money by Monday, don't bother coming to any family events ever again. You'll be dead to us. And before you get on your high horse, remember, we have receipts too. All those times we borrowed money from you, you gave that willingly. You can't prove otherwise. You owe us, Jade. And if you don't pay up, everyone will know what kind of daughter you really are. Don't test me. Your mother, for now. 7:04 p.m. My mother's phone started buzzing. Text from her brother Alan. Diane, what the hell is this email? Text from Vincent's sister Patricia. Did you just expose family secrets to 50 people? Call me now. Text from cousin Rebecca. Did you really just call Jade a mistake? My mother looked at Trevor, confused. Why is everyone texting me? How did they? She opened her sent mail folder. 2. Holmes Extended Family, 50. Her face went completely white. Oh no. Oh God, no. Trevor leaned over her shoulder. Mom, did you send that to everyone? She tried to recall the email. Too late. It had been more than 5 minutes. Within 30 minutes, the reply all storm had started. 7:05 p.m. Patricia Holmes, my father's sister. Diane. What the hell is this? Did you just call your daughter a mistake to 50 people? Who is Gregory? Does Vincent know about this? Call me. Now. 7:06 p.m. Alan Morrison, my mother's brother. Diane. Please tell me this was meant for someone else. Did you really just expose family secrets to the entire extended family? And who the hell is Gregory Thornton from 1995? 7:07 p.m. My father, who was CC'd on the email. Diane, you've just told 50 people that you had an affair in 1995, that Jade isn't my biological daughter, and that you consider our daughter a mistake. I want you to think about what you've done. I've filed for divorce. My attorney will contact you next week. You will never see or speak to Jade again. I'll make sure of it. Vincent. The emails kept coming. Cousin Rebecca. Did Diane really just demand $20,000 from her daughter who almost died? Vincent's brother Thomas. Diane, you're disgusting. I've watched you treat Jade like garbage for years. I'm glad it's finally out in the open. Diane's own cousin Jennifer. I always knew you favored Trevor, but this… Diane, you need therapy. A family friend. I'm removing myself from this email chain, but I need everyone to know. I've known Jade since she was 5. She's an incredible young woman. Diane, you should be ashamed. My grandmother, Vincent's mother, 81 years old. Diane Morrison Holmes, you are no longer welcome in my home. Jade is my granddaughter. Biology be damned. You are a cruel woman. By 7:30 p.m., 47 out of 50 people had replied. 41 condemned my mother. 3 asked to be removed from the thread. 2, my mother's elderly parents, sent confused private emails. Trevor tried to defend her. Everyone needs to calm down. Mom was just upset. Jade has been really selfish lately and… Patricia's response destroyed him. Trevor, shut up. Your sister worked double shifts to fund your cafe that failed in 4 months. She paid for your car. She sent you to Europe for $49,000. And when she was dying, your mother refused to help because she'd spent all her money on you. You're 25 years old. Get a job and stop leeching off your family. Aunt Patricia. At Nathan's apartment, my phone started buzzing. Nathan looked at the screen. Jade, you're getting a lot of emails. From your… entire family? I took the phone. I read my mother's email. Every word, every accusation, every secret exposed. I should have been devastated. Instead, I started laughing. Nathan looked concerned. Jade? She did it to herself, I said between laughs. She actually did it to herself. Nathan read over my shoulder. Your mom just told 50 people that you're not Vincent's biological daughter, that she had an affair with someone named Gregory, and that she wants us to give her $20,000. Yep. And she called you a mistake. Yep. To 50 people. I was still laughing. It felt hysterical, unhinged. Karma doesn't need my help, Nathan. Just my patience. My phone rang. Aunt Patricia. I answered. Jade, honey, I just saw your mother's email. Yeah. So did 49 other people. Patricia's voice was gentle. Are you okay? I'm relieved, actually. I don't have to explain myself anymore. She did it for me. Patricia made a sound that was half laugh, half sob. Your father is here with me. He's been here since he filed for divorce. He wants to talk to you when you're ready. I am ready. Can I call him tomorrow? Of course. And Jade? That woman is not fit to be your mother. She never was. The family group chat, Mom, Dad, Trevor, and me, pinged. Trevor. Jade, Mom didn't mean it. She's just stressed. Can you talk to Nathan about the $20,000? I typed one word. No. Then I left the group chat. Blocked my mother's email. Blocked Trevor's number. The only family I had left was Vincent, Patricia, Nathan. That was enough. But Trevor wasn't done. 2 days later, he'd show up at a cafe near Nathan's apartment, and I'd have to face him one final time. April 14th, 12:15 p.m. I was meeting Sarah for lunch at Blue Star Cafe in the Pearl District. First time I'd left Nathan's apartment in 2 weeks. I was early, sitting at a corner table, sipping coffee, feeling almost normal. Then, Trevor walked in. He spotted me immediately. "Jade, hey, what a coincidence!" It wasn't a coincidence. He'd been watching my Instagram stories, stalking my location. I kept my voice flat. "Trevor, leave." He sat down anyway. "Come on, sis, we need to talk." Sarah walked in at that moment. She saw Trevor and her face hardened. She said, "Leave." Trevor ignored her completely. "This is between family, okay?" He turned to me. Forced a smile. "Look, I know things got intense. Mom's email was bad. I told her she shouldn't have sent it. She sent it to 50 people, Trevor. It was an accident. She meant to send it just to you. She was just emotional." I stared at him. She called me a mistake. She said Gregory was right about me. She demanded $20,000. Trevor shifted uncomfortably. "Yeah, about that. Europe ended up costing more than expected." "More than the 49,000? He waved a hand. "Those were networking expenses, investments in my future. You wouldn't understand." Sarah made a disgusted sound. Trevor leaned forward. "Here's the thing. We're in a tough spot financially. Mom and I was thinking, since Nathan is obviously loaded, maybe you could talk to him? Ask for a loan? Just 20,000. We'll pay you back." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're actually serious?" "Dead serious. Family helps family, Jade. You've always been good at that." Something snapped. "Let me get this straight. You want me to ask my fiancé for $20,000 to pay your credit card bills from your vacation that Mom and Dad funded with $49,000 while I almost died, and they refused to sign a $7,500 guarantor form?" Trevor was defensive immediately. "Okay, when you say it like that, it sounds bad." "Because it is bad, Trevor." He scoffed. "That's not fair. Mom was in shock that night. She didn't mean—" "She said she couldn't afford it. Then she mentioned your Europe trip. In the same breath." Trevor's face hardened. "That's different. I'm the son. I'm supposed to carry on the family name, build wealth, take care of Mom and Dad when they're old." He actually said this, out loud. You're a nurse. You have a steady job. You don't need extra money like I do." Sarah exploded. "Did you just say she's just a nurse? She saves lives." Trevor turned to her, annoyed. "Can you butt out? This is family business." I stood up. "We're done here." Trevor grabbed my wrist. "Wait. You haven't answered. Will you ask Nathan or not?" That's when Nathan appeared. He'd come to surprise me for lunch. Perfect timing. "Let go of her. Now." Trevor released my wrist and looked up at Nathan. He tried to look confident, but I saw him swallow. "Oh, the doctor. Look, man, this is between Jade and me. Family stuff." Nathan stepped between us. "You need to leave." Trevor stood up, trying to match Nathan's height. He couldn't. "Dude, stay out of this. Jade and I are just discussing—" "I heard what you were discussing. You want $20,000 to pay credit card bills from a vacation you took while your sister almost died." Trevor's confidence wavered. He turned back to me. "See? This is what I'm talking about. You're letting him control you. The old Jade would have helped, but now you're being— Being what, Trevor? Selfish. Ungrateful. Mom was right about you. You know what? Forget the 20,000, but don't come crawling back when you need us. When your perfect doctor life falls apart. Vincent is my family." Trevor's face twisted with malice. "Vincent's not even your real dad." Mom told me about Gregory, about the affair. You're not even a real Holmes. I slapped him. Hard. The cafe went completely silent. I'd never hit anyone in my 28 years of life. But Trevor's words? My hand was shaking. Don't you dare. Vincent is more of a father than any biological donor could ever be. He chose to love me. You chose to use me. Trevor held his cheek, genuinely shocked. You hit me. You assaulted me. I could press charges. Nathan pulled out his phone. Go ahead. I have 12 witnesses who just watched you grab her wrist first. That's battery. Try me. A barista nodded. Someone at another table held up their phone. I got it on video. Trevor backed toward the door. You're both crazy. Mom was right. You're selfish. You're ungrateful. You'll regret this. Nathan's voice was calm. Absolute. Security is 30 seconds away. Leave. Now. Trevor left, yelling the whole way out. Don't come crawling back when you need us. You'll need us someday. I called after him, loud enough for him to hear. I won't. The cafe was still quiet. Then the barista brought over 2 coffees. On the house? That guy was an asshole. A woman at the next table leaned over. Your brother sounds like a piece of work. He's not my brother anymore, I said. Sarah hugged me. I can't believe you slapped him. I can't either. Nathan sat down and took my hand. How do you feel? Free, I said. And I meant it. The next morning, my father called. Jade, it's Dad. Is this a good time? Yes, hi Dad. I heard about Trevor, at the cafe. Are you all right? I slapped him. There was a pause. Then, good. Good? He grabbed you. He disrespected you. He deserved it. I started crying. Relief, maybe. Or release. Jade, I need to say something. I've been a coward for 28 years. His voice was thick with emotion. I watched Diane favor Trevor. I watched her take from you. I watched her treat you like you were less than. And I said nothing. I told myself I was keeping the peace, that it wasn't that bad, that you were strong enough to handle it. He took a breath. But the truth is, I was weak. I chose the easy path. I chose silence over protecting you. Dad, when you were dying in that hospital and Diane refused to sign, I should have thrown her out immediately. I should have signed without hesitation. Instead, I let her speak. I let her delay. I failed you when you needed me most. His voice broke. Can you forgive me? Dad, you're the only one who showed up. You're the only one who chose me over the secret. You didn't fail me. You saved me. I could hear him crying. I'm divorcing your mother. The papers are filed. I'm staying with Patricia until I find an apartment. And Jade? I know I can't undo 28 years. But I'd like to try. I'd like to be the father you deserved all along. I'd like that too, Dad. 3 hours later, my mother called from an unknown number. I answered without thinking. Jade, please, don't hang up. I recognized her voice immediately. Mom. I'm sorry, for the email, for everything. I was stressed. I wasn't thinking. You called me a mistake, in writing, to 50 people. I didn't mean it. You're not a mistake. I was just angry. Her voice shifted harder. Jade, I'm your mother. You can't cut me out. Family is family. Vincent is family. You're just biology. She made a sharp sound. You don't mean that. You're being influenced by that man. Nathan has a name, and he's the reason I'm alive. What did you do? Silence. Then she tried one more time. If you do this, if you cut me off, you'll regret it. You'll need me someday. I thought about everything. The $67,000, the lies, the favoritism, the refusal to save my life. My voice was steady. I needed you on March 22nd. You chose Trevor's credit card over my life. I don't need you anymore. I never will again. Goodbye, Diane. I hung up. Blocked the unknown number. Nathan had been standing in the doorway. How do you feel? Free, I said again. And this time, I believed it completely. May 15th, 2 months after the accident. My father texted me, "Would you have lunch with me? Just the two of us? Your choice of restaurant." I picked Mamma Mia's Italian, my favorite since I was a kid. He arrived 15 minutes early. He brought sunflowers. When I walked in, he stood immediately. "Jade." I hugged him. "Hi, Dad." We sat down. We didn't talk about Diane. We didn't talk about Trevor. We talked about us. "Tell me about Nathan," he said. "How you met. Why you love him. Tell me about ICU, your patients, your work. Tell me about your life. The parts I missed because I wasn't paying attention." I told him about the first time Nathan and I spoke. A cardiac arrest at 3 a.m. The way he stayed calm when everyone else panicked. I told him about the patient whose family hugged me after I saved their father. I told him about the apartment I wanted to buy someday, when I had enough saved. My father listened to every word. "You've built such a beautiful life, and I almost missed it." When the check came, he insisted on paying. I have 28 years of lunches to make up for. Outside the restaurant, I asked the question I'd been avoiding. "Dad, do you want to know about Gregory? Do you want to find him?" He was quiet for a moment. I looked him up. Gregory Thornton, corporate lawyer in Seattle. Still married to the same woman. 2 kids in their late 20s. Successful practice. He doesn't know you exist. Diane never told him she kept you. I felt something twist in my chest. Do you think he deserves to know? My father's voice was firm. I think he made his choice in 1995 when he stopped returning Diane's calls. He chose his life over you before you were even born. I don't want to meet him, I said. He's not my father. You are. Even knowing I'm not, I interrupted. Dad, you're the one who taught me to ride a bike. You're the one who stayed up with me when I was sick. You chose me every single day for 28 years. Gregory is just genetics. You're my father. He was crying. I don't deserve you. Yes, you do. You just forgot for a while. But you remembered when it mattered. We made a promise that day. We don't look back. We only look forward. Forward, he agreed. Together. Then I told him about the wedding. Nathan and I are getting married. June 15th. His face lit up like sunrise. I'd be honored if you'd walk me down the aisle. He couldn't speak. He just nodded and cried. The wedding planning was simple, intimate. The Sentinel Hotel in downtown Portland. 40 guests. Vincent, Patricia and her family, Vincent's brothers, Nathan's family, Sarah and my ICU colleagues. Close friends. Diane and Trevor were not invited. My mother sent my father a text. "You're going to let our daughter get married without her mother? This is unforgivable." His response, "She's my daughter. You made it clear she was a mistake you regretted. You don't get to attend her celebration." I invited Patricia to go dress shopping with me. "I'm honored," she said. "But are you sure you don't want—" "I'm sure you've been more of a mother to me in 2 months than Diane was in 28 years. I found the dress on the 3rd try. Simple, elegant, off-white lace. Patricia cried when she saw me in it. "You're beautiful, honey. I wish my mom was here to see this." Patricia looked confused for a second. Then I smiled. "I meant you." She broke down completely. The rehearsal dinner was the night before the wedding. My father gave a speech. 28 years ago, a baby came into my life. I didn't know then that biology would try to tell me she wasn't mine. He looked at me. But I know now what matters. Love is a choice. And I choose Jade. Every single day. He raised his glass. "Nathan, You're getting the best woman I know. Take care of her, and welcome to our family." Everyone stood, raised their glasses. Diane and Trevor weren't there to see it. The next day was my wedding, and my father would be the one to walk me down the aisle. June 15th, 2024. The Sentinel Hotel, Portland. The music started. Canon in D. Everyone stood. My father offered his arm. "Ready?" More than ready. We started walking. Slowly. He kept his hand over mine. "Jade, I need you to know something. This, right now, is the proudest moment of my life." I was already crying. "Dad, not because you're getting married, but because despite everything, you became this incredible woman, and I get to be your father." Every step down that aisle, he whispered, "You are so loved. You are so worthy. You are my daughter." At the altar, the pastor asked, "Who gives this woman to be married?" My father's voice was strong, clear. "I do, with pride and joy." He kissed my forehead, shook Nathan's hand. "Take care of my daughter." "Always," Nathan said. My father sat in the front row beside Patricia, both of them crying. There was empty space where my mother should have been. I didn't miss her. The ceremony was beautiful, but the moment I'll remember forever came at the reception. The father-daughter dance. "My Girl," by The Temptations. My father led me to the dance floor. His hands were shaking. "I haven't danced in 20 years. You're doing great, Dad." As we swayed, he laughed nervously. "I practiced. This week. In Patricia's living room. Watching YouTube videos." I laughed. "Really? I wanted to do this right. For you." We danced in silence for a moment. Then he said, "Jade, I need to tell you something. About your mother." "Dad, not tonight. Just this. Then never again." He took a breath. "The divorce will be final next month. She's not contesting it. Trevor moved to Arizona with her sister. He's still Trevor. Your mother asked me to tell you she's sorry, that she wants to talk." I looked up at him. "What did you say?" I said no, that you've moved on, that she lost her chance. "Thank you." His voice broke. "I love you, Jade. Not because of blood, not because of obligation. I love you because you're you, because in 28 years, you've been the best thing in my life. I'm sorry it took almost losing you for me to say it out loud. Dad, you saved my life. Not Nathan. You." He looked confused. "When you chose me over her secret, when you chose truth over lies, you gave me permission to save myself. You're my hero." The song ended. He kissed my forehead, whispered, "This is what a father looks like." The room applauded. I looked at my father, not the man who gave me his DNA, but the man who gave me his love. And I knew. I had a father. Not because of biology, because of choice. Sarah approached the microphone. "I'd like to say a few words about my best friend." She told the story of meeting me on my first day at Sacred Heart. How I was terrified and excited and ready to save the world. For 5 years, I watched Jade give. To her patients, to her family, to everyone except herself. Her voice hardened slightly. I watched her work double shifts so she could send money home. I watched her skip meals. I watched her delete an engagement announcement after no one responded. The room went very quiet. And then, on March 22nd, I watched her family refuse to save her life. Sarah looked directly at me. But I also saw something else. I saw Nathan step up without hesitation. I saw Vincent realize what he'd been missing for 28 years. She raised her glass. "So here's to Jade, the strongest person I know, who finally learned that you can't pour from an empty cup. Here's to Nathan, who saw Jade's worth when her own family couldn't. And here's to Vincent, who chose love over biology. To the real family!" Everyone stood. "To the real family!" 6 months later. December 15th, 2024. Nathan and I bought a house. 2 bedrooms, small yard, 10 minutes from Sacred Heart. My financial situation had completely changed. Savings, $18,500. Credit card, paid off. 401k, contributions resumed. Now at $9,800. Debt to family, 0. My father was thriving. He'd moved into an apartment near us. He came over twice a week for dinner. He was dating a kind woman named Ellen, a librarian. According to Patricia, Diane was living with her sister in Arizona, working part-time at a dental office. She told people her daughter abandoned her. Trevor was working at a car dealership in Phoenix. He'd lasted 2 months so far. He'd sent me a Facebook friend request. I declined. He'd asked my father for money twice. My father said no both times. I'd started therapy in May. Weekly sessions about boundaries, self-worth, breaking cycles. Nathan and I were stronger than ever. December 14th. My father called. Jade, can you and Nathan come for dinner tomorrow? I have news. We went. He and Ellen were both there, smiling nervously. I wanted you both to hear this from me first. Ellen and I are engaged. I hugged him so hard he laughed. Dad, that's wonderful. We're thinking a small ceremony in the spring. And Jade, I'd like you to be my best woman. I'd be honored. Ellen joined us. Jade, your father talks about you constantly, about how proud he is. He does? My father smiled. Every day. You're my daughter. My real daughter. Biology be damned. Looking at my father, happy for the first time in decades. Looking at Nathan, the man who saved my life in more ways than one. Looking at the text from Sarah. Coffee tomorrow? My treat. No family drama allowed. I realized something. I lost a mother who never loved me. I lost a brother who only used me. But I gained a father who chose me. A husband who protected me. A family who celebrates me. For 28 years, I thought I had to earn love. That if I just gave enough, sacrificed enough, became enough, they'd see my worth. But worth isn't earned, it's inherent. And the people who love you, they see it immediately. 6 months ago, I was dying in an ER while my mother refused to save me. Today, I'm drinking wine in my father's apartment, planning his wedding, holding my husband's hand. The math is simple. Money lost to family, $67,300. Money gained in self-worth, priceless. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find out what you actually had. And what you had was never what you lost. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, if you've ever given until you had nothing left, if you've ever wondered if you were the problem, you're not. You never were. The people who love you will show up. They'll choose you. Not because they have to, but because they want to. And that's the only kind of love that matters.